Alright, Hardslides. So I'm going to be practicing on this flat bar here. This is at the Waterview skate park. It's my local and it's pretty good. Just going to test the rail, make sure she's sliding alright. So a hard slide is a grind where your cranks are perpendicular. Ideally at a 90-degree angle, but I wouldn't be too specific about that. As long as you're grinding on either the tip of your crank or on your bearings and your pedal and your foot are not touching the grinding obstacle. The hardest part of a hard slide is making it obvious that you're actually doing the trick, because most of the time when you're doing it, you're going to accidentally put your foot back on the rail. So a really good hard slide is when you're completely perpendicular. But to call it a hard slide, I wouldn't be too particular about it. As long as your foot or your pedal isn't touching the rail, it's a hard slide. Pretty happy with that one. I was able to grind most of the rail. A common problem you're going to find with a hard slide is that you're going to often go from a hard slide into a regular grind. Resisting the urge is pretty difficult, but it is a safe way to bail out of a grind if you're losing your balance. There's nothing quite like a grind with less than regular resistance. Okay, time to move on to the 180 out. So the 180 out was really difficult. It took me a long time. Many attempts where I didn't even get to trying the 180, and it got pretty frustrating, but I just had to keep telling myself, Chris, it's alright, settle down. Just do some foot plants, you'll feel better, and it's only a matter of time. So that one was pretty sketchy, but I was really glad that I made some progress because it did take me a long time. I find when I'm getting frustrated, it helps if I just do a foot plant. They feel really good, and I guess it's easy to make them really smooth. They're really enjoyable, and it just helps to kind of level my thinking, calms me down. So yeah, it's more like a 90 to be honest, but yeah, like you can see, I was not too keen, but it was time to move on. Alright, so moving on. Backflip to 7 spin. Just wanted to practice my 7s to seed in a little bit. That one was too sketchy. So I'm going for a backflip out of the grind, 2 revs, 7 spin, and I wanted to learn backflip out switch hand, so I did the same again. So this is the first time I've tried backflip out of switch hand. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, got it second try, but the 7 spin was not so lucky. Hop. Sketchy. Do it again. So yeah, at this point I was getting pretty tired. My attempts were getting worse and worse. Now for the 7. Still too sketchy, too sketchy. Wow, yeah, so sometimes my 7 spins are not very consistent. I only just recently learnt to do them to seed in again. For a long time I was struggling with them and I could only land seed out. Oh, there we go, okay. I was pretty happy with that one, felt pretty good. Moving on to some backslide practice. I'm pretty rubbish at backslide on a flat bar. On a downward ledge or on a handrail, I'm okay. Oh, that was disgusting. That wasn't too bad, but a pretty short grind. Dabbing the rail is pretty classic for me because I lean forward too much. As you can probably tell in my landings, I'm not very good at leaning back, which is obviously the key for a backslide. A tip that everyone should know, if you're using wax, but you know, I'm just going to say it just in case, just add a little bit and then test it out. It's going to make things a lot slipperier than you think. You're either going to wreck yourself if you add too much wax, or you're going to get it all over your pedals and that shit is really annoying to remove. Okay, so a trick that I've never done on this flat bar is an inflip to grind. So this is just this is the way I warm up the trick, and it's like a mini tutorial for you guys. I basically just throw my unicycle into the bar, see how it's going to react, And yeah, then I just go for it. In flip into a grind, out flip, and you know, basically anything where you do a spin. It's pretty hard to get a good slide because your tire is most likely going to be pressing against the rail, which is going to slow you down a lot. And yeah, so as you can see, I struggled to get a good slide, so I decided to put a little bit more wax on. I don't think it really helped though, to be honest, because as you can probably tell, my tire is pushing against the rail. And my attempts were getting worse and worse and worse, so I just decided to call it a day. But before I left, I thought I would try a backflip catch out of this rail. I know I could do it, it's an easy thing, so I thought I'd just give it a try before I left. So it's another thing I can check off the list. And always before I end a ride, I try and do at least a few fifth double flips. It's just a trick I'm trying to get consistent at the moment. I don't really have a lot of big tricks, so I'm quite happy to have this guy consistent. I landed it second try, but I had no idea the camera was so off-center, so I did it again. Still pretty sketchy. I wasn't satisfied with those, so just kept going until I got one where I ride out clean. Still too sketchy. So yeah, that fifth double flip there felt really smooth. It was pretty underflipped, but the way I rolled out of it I really liked, so I just took it. And of course, no ride is complete without an inward varial flip. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learnt something about hard slides. Get out there and ride and make sure you enjoy it. That's what it's all about. Be kind to each other, and yeah, don't be a dick. See you in the next video.